In this video, I will talk about why I prefer having an Android phone over an Apple phone. There are a couple main reasons why I prefer Android. First, when I was a kid, I wanted to feel different from everyone else, and that's why I prefer having an Android phone. That's how it was at first. And then, after a while, it became like a stubborn view of how everyone else has iPhones, and I refused to be a part of I refused to sell out. That was the word I used, and get an iPhone. And while my reasons were stupid as a kid, now I'm glad I did that. Because first, I believe iPhone's ecosystem thing is like having it's like your data being held hostage. How it works is you can you can send your data from Android to Apple, but you can't send your data from Apple to Android. So once your data is in Apple, it's stuck there. You can't send it over to anywhere else. Like I've had multiple people tell me that I'm smart to keep an Android because once they switch from Android to Apple, even if they're unhappy with their phone, they can't switch back because all their photos, their their drive, their Google Drive of information is all in the Apple ecosystem and it's there. I will admit having that ecosystem is pretty nice. Like I've seen friends in class like message people on their computers rather than their phones, and that would be a cool feature to have. However, I'm happy with what I have because I know I can always switch to another type of phone. I have a Google Pixel, and I know if Google suddenly makes the phones like $3,000, or they charge some if they do some ridiculous things, I can always switch to Samsung or any other Android phone. The second reason is because Apple phones are very overpriced. There are a lot of Samsung phones that are also very high priced, but I prefer having a phone that's less than $1,000, and I'm sure most people can agree with me, and that is what I like to use. The third reason is actually a bit counterintuitive. The UI, the user interface on Android, is actually worse than Apple. What that means is it's a lot easier to use an Apple phone and it feels smoother and it's easier to use your phone as an Apple rather than an Android. I have like random moments where I have to like delete the app and open it again and all these issues. And you would think that's a good thing for Apple. And technically, for most people, it is a good thing. Having a better user interface means less problems, less issues, and you can use your phone more. People who have Apple phones tend to use their phone more on average than people with Android because the UI is much better. Think about that. How often do you really want to use your phone? Not how much do you use it, how much do you want to be using it? Not as much as you are, probably less than an hour, ideally, right? Because you want to do things that benefit your life. And scrolling on your phone on social media is not benefiting your life. This is one of the reasons why this is a tangent story. One of the reasons why I delete TikTok off my phone, but still have Instagram, Snapchat, all those things, is because I'm scared of TikTok. Because it's so easy to scroll for hours on end, whereas with Instagram, you have to like swipe and there's like a bar that's like a gap between one post and the other. Whereas with TikTok, there is no gap. And it's a lot harder on TikTok to go to settings or anything else. And that is what I mean by a better user interface or a more addicting user interface. Because TikTok has it so that you people spend far more time on their app at a time than any other social media. And other people are copying them. I know YouTube has this YouTube Shorts where you can swipe the same way, and X or Twitter has this one disgusting one that I hate, where I saw my dad use it. It it swipes for you. So you watch a video, when the video is done, it goes to the next one. And I think that is even worse than TikTok because that way there's no action at all. You're basically watching and watching with as little action from you as possible. And that is how you end up watching your phone for 6 hours in a row. Anyway, that was a tangent. But the point is, having a worse user interface means you use your phone less, which means you can do things that are productive more. Another cool thing about Android is that it is a lot more customizable than an Apple. You can like straight up change the entire operating software if you know how to do it. Whereas for an Apple phone, you're not allowed to do that. Now, I don't take advantage of this because I don't have the technical skill, but it is nice to know. One cool thing I did when I was a kid is I would download a APK, which is essentially downloading an app, but not from the App Store. You're downloading it from the internet. You can do that on an Android. So I was able to download a game from Canada in the US, and that was cool. Whereas Apple phones were not able to do that. To do that. Hmm. Of course, there are advantages for having an Apple phone. For one, everyone has them, so you're able to fit in better. I saw one funny, I think, post where this one girl said she wouldn't date anyone with the Android. So if you're into that kind of thing, having an Apple would work. Another thing is one thing I wish, one thing I miss in Apple is that iMessenger game. I forgot what it's called, but you can like play pool and stuff like that. That is one thing I did miss as a kid, but now I'm okay with it. I don't really have people I want to play pool with because I'm busier and doing productive things. Yeah, anyway, that is all for this video. I will see you in the next one.